explain. When the Spanish arrived to the Americas, they thought that the natives had a pheasant bird that had potential for domestication. But if this bird went out of your hands, it'd go into the woods.
We are in the boat.
So the Spanish said, you know what? Why don't we take this bird back to Europe, to our friends in Turkey? Did you know that 90% of all farm animals that we know and love so much were domesticated in Turkey? Turkey. When the Spanish take this bird back to Turkey, they modified the bird to a heavier one and made it easier to mass produce. They brought it back. They didn't want to deal with the technicalities of naming it. They simply called him Turco. Here's a Turco for you. Turco in English is turkey. So that's what we call them, turkey.
Thanksgiving story.
It's a Thanksgiving story.
You made me hungry of the turkey.
I got it.
That's why we call them turkeys. You know that the common pigeon that we have in every city, wherever there's humans, are also from Colombia. But you know what the Turks did with this bird? They actually modified the bird.
Oh, that's my name right there.
For communication purposes. It is the first text messenger for humans. The Turks have been using pigeons to communicate at long distance 1,000 years before the Spanish arrived to the Americas. But they taught the Spanish how to do this.
Oh, this is a
And guess what?
good
The Spanish went around the
building.
world, conquering a bunch of the territory around the world, and bringing them over to the Americas. In fact, if it weren't for pigeons, many of us wouldn't be here today. You don't see the connection, I know, it's hard. I have to explain. When the Spanish went across the Atlantic, they were mapping out the stars. The only way they can actually make better graphic pictures of this is by sending pigeons back home with messages and the maps of the stars. By doing so, in Europe, the Spanish were gathering the pigeons and all of the information sent by the voyage, making this trip from 40 days to a week. So it was easier for them to travel here once they had a map. Pretty interesting, huh? Hey, now that we're in the spirit of learning, which is the tallest mountain in the world?
Everest.
Where is it located? Where is it located?
The Everest?
Mount Everest. It's in Nepal, and it's 29,000 feet tall, the tallest mountain. The deepest trench in the ocean, you know it? The Mariana Trench. And it's in the Pacific Ocean, underneath Japan, alongside the Philippines. It is 36,000 feet. It's called the Challenger. The reason I mention this, right now we have Texas A&M. They're like the Turks today. They modify everything. All of the farm animals that the Turks modified, well, here in Texas, Texas A&M went further and modified them to more. And they're finding some creatures there in the Mariana Trench. They're revolutionizing medicine today. We're going to have super medicine in the future.
Hi, Zeri. Zeri.
You know what's one of the questions I get all the time out here? Do you guys have a mosquito problem in San Antonio? Have you noticed the slow running water? Have you noticed how many of us are out here? Mosquitoes would have a ball with us if there was any of them around. But you know what's going on around here? Around San Antonio and Austin lives about 15 million bats, minimum. 15 to 20 million bats live out here.
Look,
any
you need
given
to look.
summer. They've been coming back and forth from the deserts of Mexico and into Texas for the last 40 million years. Now, let me tell you, you're going to start liking them after I tell you this. They do two very important functions. One, they bring down the mosquito population to almost none. And second, they fertilize the entire territory. And they've been doing so for the last 40 million years. That's why agriculture is so healthy and efficient. So now you like them, don't you? Now if you like tomatoes, onion, garlic, cilantro, well that sounds like a pico de gallo, right? Well, we wouldn't be able to have this if the bats wouldn't be here. Such healthy produce. Texas benefits from the back greatly. Now, have you wondered in your time here in San Antonio whether or not this river floods? Have you been thinking this? The answer is yes. But in 1997, the solution came by way of a underneath the city. If you look at my horn back here, the city does not sit flat. It sits on a slope. This is the real success of San Antonio. The fingertips represents 2 miles north. The elbow 2 miles south. That's north. This is south. It's dropping 35 feet in just 4 miles. The river. We don't see it nor feel it, but we're actually in the slope. The city sits right here. In 1997, they drew a tunnel underneath the downtown area. By having a 24-foot tunnel, 3 miles long, when it rains, the water wants to go over into the businesses. But not anymore. Now it drops into a tunnel and out of the city without causing any flooding. There's no flooding in the downtown
There's
area.
restaurants along on the river.
Now take a look here at this bridge. It was completed in 1941 and named after Robert H. Hugman, the young architect that designed the walkway. In 1992, Chris Perez proposed to Selena Quintanilla, a Tejano singer out of Corpus Christi.
This is where Selena
This
kissed.
bridge here, see mine?
Oh, this is the Selena kissed.
Okay, you're probably wondering, when did the city build the walkway? You know the river's been here for over 10,000 years, so
Those
we've
are
been here at the
restaurants.
river. But this walkway was built
Hotels.
in 1938. They began construction. That's also when World War II broke out in Europe. And it was completed in 1941, costing under $400,000. Under $400,000. You might be thinking, what a small investment. Not really. This was during World War II. Times were rough. But San Antonio went ahead and built this project. It was federal funded, and it was because of the military. Extra one. Now, when we pass this bridge, look to the left. Look at the angle of the building and follow it up. It's going to look like a paper thin. This is the next hospital. Built in 1930.
Looks like a paper thin building.
Yeah. Nice. Restaurants.
That smells good.
Yeah.
Notice the cypress trees beside it. These cypress trees can be 500-600 years old. A clear indication that we are on
Oh,
a
bubblegum.
natural river. Now, if you're
Bubblegum.
thinking, I'd like to go fishing here, you know, those that love to fish, like myself, and I'm sure some of you do too, we're always curious what's in the water. Let me explain what's in the water. Catfish in abundance,
Oh, wow.
carp.
Oh, I like
There
that.
is alligator gar.
What?
It's a
Alligator?
fish, not an alligator, it's an alligator gar.
Alligator guard,
It can
okay.
grow up to 7 feet in length. There is snakes, turtles, ducks, hawks, pigeons,
Restaurants.
raccoons, opossums, you name it. This is a real river.
This is a
Now the
mall.
fastest way to get to the
Shops
Alamo
of
is
Paseo
this
del
hotel
Alamo.
beside us to the left. It's called the Hyatt Regency.
Stop it. We're not here for that. You enjoy the boat.
Okay. You know where that is. No, I read it. It's
Now here on the left-hand side, here we have, on the left is the rainforest.
The rainforest.
We have CVS.
oh, I know where that is.
We have Sawgrass on the right and Five and Dime. Now, I can't help noticing that none of you have a hat. You might have caps, which is fine. But a hat here in Texas is you want to carry a hat with you along for the trip, and this is the way they go. Being out here for 2-3 hours in a hot sun, the only way you're able to stay a little more comfortable and not so dehydrated is by wearing a hat. That's why Texas. Well, wearing a hat is like having your own umbrella without using your hat. So it's going to help you stay comfortably out here without dehydrating. And then of course you want to.
We're from Arizona. This is like air conditioning.
Yeah. Arizona in the summer.
You're familiar, but here we have humidity. Which
We don't have humidity. Yeah, we don't get sweaty there.
These guys.
Now the restaurants began to appear here on the river around 1846.
Hilton.
Here on the right-hand side,
Palacio
Casa
del Rio.
Rio is actually the first restaurant to formally open in the river.
This one? Oh, this is the first restaurant
It
open.
is the first restaurant. It's also the restaurant that introduced the riverboat tour concept.
This one?
No more for her. We're going to take a left-hand turn. We're going into the man-made extension. No more for her.
It's only new. You just gotta go.
You may want to chase that down with some water. Those are very strong.
I will not be
Look at the souvenirs.
Like Chihuahua bags. You see
You
them?
can get cheers.
Where?
Socks. Oh, Chihuahua socks.
I'll tell you how to get here very easily.
How long till summer festival? No, but like all eight. Oh, good. No, I know, but like I didn't want it to wrap up at
Be in a hurry.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's some
I can
Marriott.
comfortably say till about 5 or 6 o'clock.
Oh. There's a natural stone guitar. There we go. There we go. We're gonna reach out. I'm gonna get it for Paige. That's perfect. That's perfect.
Now, how many of you on the boat are from Texas?
I mean, we live
Want to?
here.
Oh, half the boat. Oh, that's pretty good. Thank you for coming out here. Now, let me give you some general information of Texas. We live in a vast territory, guys. Texas is bigger than European countries. A lot of us don't even get the idea of how
Marriott
vast this
Hotel.
state is. It is a big state. You see, if you wanted to go across Texas, get ready for at least 11 hours, driving 70 miles an hour.
Bye.
11 hours.
You know what's... Huh? Well,
There is
She's had this.
I know. No, but you know what makes it not so boring for me is that when I go to the gas pump, I pay half the price in any other state.
Yeah.
So I'm always glad to pump some gas and
No,
feel
I've noticed
feel
that.
lucky. As I go and it's only $2.64.
We like the prices here, for sure.
Go to California,
Yeah, they really do it to you there. Now, Texas is the 11th strongest economy in the world, and slightly right behind California. But Texas is the 5th largest producer of oil in the world as well. And only 30 million people live in this great state of Texas. 30 million.
30 million of people
Considering that
in
it's bigger than most European countries.
Texas.
Now,
Oh
this
my
is the
God, it's the
convention
biggest
center, and we're not
building.
able to go here today because of the construction going on. So we're going into River Center Mall. Now, River Center was completed in 1988. The entire project, along with the extension of the river we are on, cost $250 million. The goal was to add more space to the convention center and, of course, have more rooms available nearby.
More people here. This is the mall.
And here we are, River Center Mall. At river level,
River
you find
Center
restaurants.
Mall.
Second and third level, you find stores and retail shops.
It's a big mall.
Oh, Jimmy Buffett.
River Center. All around it. The biggest hotel is also here called the Marriott River Center.
It's the mall in San Antonio City. Beautiful. Marriott Hotel. River Center. Restaurants, hotels.
Okay, since we are from Texas, we should know this. What's the large mammal that represents the state? The large mammal that represents the state. The longhorn. And the small mammal that represents our state is the armadillo. Texas state flower is the blue bonnet.
Yes, blue
The
bonnet. You
tree
told me
of
that.
Texas is the pecan tree.
Yeah, what happened to the yellow rose?
And that's not our state flower. It's the blue bonnet.
I thought it was buttery.
The bird? Which is the bird? Do you know?
Texas is a country song.
The mockingbird. And all my exes, they work along the riverwalk. Yeah, I'm kidding. Now this is where we get the name of our city, San Antonio. San Antonio was actually from Portugal. He never set foot in the Americas. He was born in the 12th century. On June 13, 1691, the city of San Antonio was founded, and it is 330-year-old city. Today, it's among the earliest European establishments in the country. There's 3 major languages spoken here in San Antonio. Would you know which ones they are?
German.
Nailed it. In German, you say willkommen to say
Look at the
bienvenidos,
dog.
welcome.
Hello,
Now,
dog.
in the east of Texas, you might even hear bienvenue. That's French. These are the 4 most commonly spoken languages in Texas.
Hello.
Who was the first president of Texas? There's a city named after him, the biggest city
Sam
in
Houston.
Texas, Sam Houston. But you know his Mexican name? No? Now this may be new. It's Pablo.
Pablo?
Pablo.
It's you.
Pablo Sam Houston, because he became Mexican citizen first.
Pablo is Paul.
Oh, that's your name?
Yeah, that's what
I'm Ricardo.
We'll call you Sam.
Sam Houston. Pablo Sam Houston.
There you go. I like it.
When we pass this footbridge in front of us, we will be taking a left-hand turn. We will be coming to the end of our tour, guys. We are coming to the end. Now remain seated until the boat comes to a safe dock. Once I've secured it to the bank, I'll let you know when it's okay to come out. The walkway and the boat are not going to be entirely flush, okay? So please be careful coming out. It could also be moving up and down, so make sure you have a safe step out. According to our company, ladies and gentlemen, gratuity is allowed for the boat captain. It's how we make a living out here. My name is Ricardo, this is Felipe, And this is Cash App. And he's called Pablo.
Cash App. You saw that? That's Cash App.
Allow me a moment to tell the hotel. Make sure you have your phones and other belongings in your hands.
That's
When you
it,
exit the boat, you don't want
guys.
to
I'm done with my
rush back for
video.
any of your belongings.
So that's restaurants.